Hola artísticos, sean bienvenidos a otro episodio más. Este episodio será totalmente en inglés, así que vamos a empezar.
So today we have Ashley Hohenstein, the author of the Condit Chronicles. So tell me about it, Ashley. How you feel today? How you feel in this new podcast? Do you watch it like the other two episodes, right?
Yes.
What do you feel?
I'm super excited and honored to be on here with you guys. I love that you're diving deep into the artistic process, and it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Absolutely, you are the first guest that the whole episode is going to be like in English. So you're the first episode it's the first episode that our guest speaks only English. So
that's exciting.
It's an honor to have you here.
So let's start with the questions. You want to start or?
Yeah, of course. So how is your creative process? How do you begin to write?
I start by creating a sacred space. So for me, that's somewhere where I'm not going to be interrupted. It can be a coffee shop, but I need to know that I can just focus on my laptop and my writing. And during that time, I tend to play a playlist that I've created for whatever book that I'm working on. And that sets the mood for the scene, the characters, and drops me right into where I need to be.
So it depends on the mood of the page, the type of music.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wow. So what kind of music do you listen?
It's a variety depending on what scene I'm writing. I love Florence and the Machine for creating
it's amazing.
battle scenes. I might listen to some Nora Jones or some Ed Sheeran if I'm going to create some romantic scenes. So it's a variety.
That's funny that you said that you can listen to music while you're writing, because me as a writer, I have ADHD, like something like I can't write with like, I don't know, music with lyrics. I need to write with like...
With yes.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. Something that is just only instrumental, because I'm just going to like... I'm not going to be focused on the page, so yeah, it's very difficult to me to have that, so yeah.
Well, the truth is often I'll listen to the music, get into my groove,
right.
And then I'll tend to put on something that's more instrumental
right.
in order to keep me a little more focused in that space. So
I understand.
Absolutely.
So how did you start writing? What was the first time that you say, oh, I want to start writing?
I always loved writing. I look back on some of my stuff as a little girl. And
Always.
I was writing short stories, and I had journals, and I was always creating imaginary worlds. And then when I was 25, I was backpacking through Europe, and on a train going through Tuscany, I had this story just what I would say download into my brain, and I created the conduit world from that point on.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So it was like in a trip that you discovered that you wanted to write it.
Absolutely. I think that for those of us who are artists, sometimes the best way to find your medium or your story or whatever it is by quieting the outside world. So going on a trip is a good way to do that.
All right. So what is it? So that in that moment that the idea pops in your head and then you started to write in it?
Not immediately. Because I was on a train, I just kind of like laid back and let the story play like a movie in my head, and I just watched it.
Wow, it was like the first idea that you discovered that you needed to write it.
Exactly.
Wow. So talking about like writing, do you ever have like a creative block, like when it comes to write? Sometimes I don't know. I mean, I want to write, but I don't have the capacity to do it in that moment. I have like a block that I can't write in that moment. So I don't know why, but it happens. So how do you manage to have that creative block?
First, don't get frustrated with it, because we always have it. Everyone has creative blocks. And then I sit there and I stare at the page. And I'll stare at it until something, even just a character's name, comes to mind. And I'll just write down the character's name. That's enough. Or sometimes it's that I need to write down my grocery list or write in my journal about a busy day so that I can move the energy and I can start going into the characters and the story I want to write about.
Oh, nice. Talking about like writing in the first page, how do you manage to I don't know, to writing the blank page? Because I don't know, me as a writer, it's very difficult to me to start to write, because it's just like a blank page. Is this thing for me like it's very challenging to me to start to write, because it's just like it's nothing on it. So I need to put it like the ideas on there, and it feels like I need to have enough potential for that blank page. So how do you manage to write in it?
So for me, most of my writing career, I've been able to write whatever story or scene or character came to mind in that moment, and I would just write it down. But because this is a series of 8 books and I'm finishing the final one right now, I couldn't just do that in the last book. I had to write it chronologically and also look at wrapping up loose ends and mysteries and different things that I had created. So I had to write this book chronologically. That's why it's taken me so long, because it's so much harder to do that.
It's so much bigger, right?
It's like double the size of all the rest of my books.
Look at this. It's like the double size of this. It's like so much pages.
It's so big. So
it's the same as a Harry Potter book, yeah.
It is. It's a big book.
And it's just a one story, or there are many stories in that?
There are 7 books written and published. In my books, I write from 3 different perspectives. So 3 different main characters speak their voice into my book series.
Okay.
And I have, by the time all the books are done, I think I have a cast of over 150 characters. So there's a lot of different stories and a lot of different timelines that I have to weave together.
It's about fantasy, right? Or like the saga is about fantasy.
It's an urban fantasy, which is defined as magic in the world as we know it.
Oh, right.
And then it kind of becomes an epic fantasy, because by the time it's done, there's dragons and trolls and all kinds of magical creatures that are added into the story.
All right. So it's the story that changes when the saga continues, right?
Exactly.
So talking about... Perdón, ¿puedo ir? Sí, vas.
So you, as a writer of fantasy, what do you think about classic literature?
Oh, that's a good question. I enjoy some classic literature. I'm trying to think of who I would pick for a classic literature author that I really enjoy. Hemingway is probably one that I have enjoyed from time to time, but it's not something that I generally pick up to read.
You don't like, well, it's not your favorite, like classical literature?
No, it's not my favorite. I tend to like books that have either new worlds or some kind of mystery in them.
Talking about, like, again, from the fantasy genre, what do you think about the fantasy genre right now? About, like, right now, how do you feel it that is going to... Well, what do you think about the genre right now?
So while I'm writing fantasy, which has been since 2010, wow. I don't generally read it. It's what I would read before, but I don't read it while I'm writing it because I don't want to be influenced. So I know that there are some amazing, amazing fantasy authors out there, but the last one that I read that I really liked was Patrick Rothfuss, and it was The Name of the Wind. And it was an incredible story, but I can't speak to what's happening in the fantasy world right now.
Okay, I'm going to the next question. What do you think about the new writers?
New writers. Well, first of all, I think there are some amazing new writers out there. Absolutely. The thing about writing in any artistic adventure that you take on, I feel like as long as it comes from a place of passion and excitement and originality, you are an incredible writer. And if you go out of the box and don't write within the framework that society would tell you to write, I think that's even more spectacular because you're paving the way for the next set of writers to come and create new worlds and new genres.
And that is doing, like, in a way that, I don't know, for example, there are some film writers and they don't, like, publish with any, like, editorial. They put it, like, in app that is called... I know that app, but I'm not sure that it is, like, the only app that allows you to upload your book. But it's, like, let me remember. Wattpad. That is, like, some authors upload his books in Wattpad and are very popular. Just in there. And yeah, most of the authors, the young actors, comes from Wattpad, and it's like a very, like, strange way, but it works at the same time. You can have, like, enough very good quality of in that books.
Now, I'm not that familiar with the app, but is that the one where authors are uploading, like, more chapters at a time?
Yeah, I believe, it's that app.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I know how it works, like that app.
I really appreciate this new type of writing process because for me, I wrote my first book and then I published it, and there were parts of it that I wish I would have let grow and evolve before I published my first book. But once you commit to that, then that's the story, because that's the story your readers are committed to. If I was writing one chapter at a time and giving that out to my readers, I think I could have grown a little bit more with my characters and evolved my story in a more brilliant way. So I love that this is what writers are doing now.
Yeah, I understand, because the readers told you what is wrong, or what is going, what you need to change, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving to the next question. What do you think about like using AI in literature? Like there are some like writers that use AI instead of just really writing.
Absolutely. I am a little scared of AI and a little sad.
Well, it's a powerful, ¿cómo se dice? Herramienta?
Tool.
It's a powerful tool, but using creativity is dangerous.
It is, because it takes away our ability to use our imaginations and to really let everything kind of download or create from a foundation that is strictly from you. I feel that I know for many, many years, writers have been using ghostwriters to help them build their stories. But just like my editor helps me build my story each time she sits down with me, it's still a collaboration of minds and of people, and we're creating together. AI takes that and it puts it in a program, and it takes away all the creative process, and it makes me a little sad.
And you're not really writing; you're just putting your idea, and then AI is writing for you. It's not like really writing.
Exactly.
Well, for me, it's not. And you can read at some parts of AI writes, and you can tell if it's a writer from if it's something that a human created or something that AI created, because it's like doesn't have any soul if it's AI. And you can tell, because it's some language that we don't use. There's something in it that doesn't feel right, like for a real text.
It's missing the human.
It's missing something.
This is not human.
Exactly.
This doesn't have enough love. This doesn't have a human structure. This feels so like something with like the perfection that doesn't allow you to like you're just having mistakes in it. Because if you have a mistake, it's more human and it's more beautiful to enjoy it.
Exactly.
I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, that's true for me.
Well, I have resisted even taking classes on writing, because I didn't want someone to tell me how to do my art. I wanted it to be something that I created for me and for others from that space. So AI uses a program that's exactly what you're supposed to do step by step.
Yeah,
so you're not going to have that voice and that real beautiful passion in it.
Yeah, you're not going to have that flexibility, because the AI is going to be very strictly that way.
Exactly.
So, do you think the young writers, well, not the young writers, the young people in the actuality are living by side writing, or they're trying to, what do you say about, like, there's still enough authors, as always, or there are less authors than other time, for example?
It feels like, so the publishing world and the writing world has changed a lot in the last 20 years. You used to have a publisher in order to put your work out there. And then Amazon came and said, everyone can self-publish. So there was a lot more writers on the scene. And now that people can use AI, I imagine there's probably even more writers on the scene.
Writers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you can make a book with AI and sell it in Amazon, and you say, "Oh, I make for myself." But no, you didn't.
And the people is going to realize that it's not you. It's not you that you're writing that book. Because it looks so perfect that it's not like allows you to do mistakes and do something that is human.
Exactly. So I don't know that there's less writers, but my hope would be that as a world, that we would be a little bit more aware that we each need our creative process. Whether you're a writer, a painter, a photographer, we need to if they're trying to take it from us, which they kind of are, we need to dive in deeper to it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, don't like from the young people, please mistake it as much as you want, because it's like it's very natural. It's very natural to do it. It's like it is how you discover new tools and you discover
New skills
and new things that you will never ever experiment if you never fail it. So it's like you need to, because there's a part that you need to learn something, and the only way you have to learn is to just fail in it. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's great wisdom. You guys really.
Thank you. Well, thank you for everything. Actually.
So now we're going to this section that is recomendados.
Yeah.
We are in this section is you have to recommend a song, a movie, everything that has to be with art.
Yeah, something that you feel this thing that that you're recommending, something that you feel that most people are going to connect with it, and something that you're connected with, something like you have it's something you really love it.
Perfect. Yeah, I would highly recommend for those who are attempting or would like to build their writing practice. There's a book by Lamott called Bird by Bird, and she's not giving you the system to write. She's just helping you understand how you can unlock your own writing process, because it's different for everyone. And then if I had to pick a recommendation for artistry in Mexico, I would go to Chava Taco, because they are artists there.
Yeah.
So if you're looking
agree.
for cocina art, that's where you're going to want to go.
Yeah, are in Valladolid, if you want to know where is it, and they are amazing. They're at the type of of quality. They're not so expensive, and they're not in a luxury restaurant, but it's like just like there's so much love in their food that you will know that is like something that is made with love.
Yes.
So well,
Art.
So
okay.
please, you.
I'm going to recommend today Bestiario by Julio Cortazar. This book is kind of like, it is amazing. It is amazing for me because sometimes you don't understand books, but you like it. And another episode said that it doesn't matter if you didn't understand it. It matters that you feel it. It matters that you when you feel something, it's enough. It's really like enough for me, enough for whatever. It's completely just feel it. And this book, Julio Cortázar always like write like in a confusing way, because they use like a lot of lots of words and lots like metaphors, and it's like very complex to understand it. But it's very beautiful to just saw it, like, and then you feel you feel the same, because it's like very beautiful, and the way he writes, and yeah, it's amazing. It's about like, I believe
Who's the writer?
Julio Cortázar.
Julio Cortázar.
Julio Cortázar is amazing, like Argentinian writer. He's dead by now, but like he was brilliant. He was brilliant, and yeah, I love that man. He was like a genius. And how I believe like 9 histories about like 9 stories. Sorry. 9 stories about like people, and yeah, it's about people. There are some like things that is like fantasy realism, but it's like, I believe it's like talking about like the human condition, and it's amazing. You need to read it. I'm going to catch it.
I'm going to. Okay, so I'm going to recommend El hombre en busca del sentido. That is a book of the Holocaust, and it's a very good book, but it tells you the story that happened in the, ¿cómo se dice? Campos?
In the concentration camps.
Concentration camps, and he tells a story of what is my motivation to wake up and another day, because I wake up and I see just so awful things that happen, and I have to eat with my dead body of my friend that I just saw how he died, and yeah, it's so good. So thank you to be here. It was a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
It was nice to have you here. Thank you for everything. Here are the books of the Conduct Chronicles. If you want to read it, we're going to have in the description the link of Amazon if you wanted to buy it. And the last book is coming in March, right?
In May.
In May, sorry. Say May. So yeah, we're in March, but it's coming in May, right?
So the final book is May 24th.
Next month, no. Yeah, the next month. Yeah, you're right.
No,
2 months. 2 months. You guys don't make it too early.
No, but
yeah, in 2 months it's going.
In 2 months, May 24th, the final book will be out, and I'm so grateful you guys had me on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you were here. Thank you for everything, and well, thank you for being an amazing writer, an amazing artist, and for the people who are listening, and for the people who are viewing us, keep doing what you love. Just keep doing it. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because if it is perfect, it's going to be awful to read it, because really awful. There's nothing like as perfect. They need to be like a human writing on it. So if it's not perfect, it's human. So don't upset with being a perfectionist, because you're not going to be perfect. That's like a real way.
So before we finish, do you want to say some words to the people and your social media?
Well, first of all of my Conduit Chronicle fans, I'm so grateful for you. I don't know that I would have finished the series if you guys were not so insistent on wanting to know how the story ends. So thank you. I'm so abundantly grateful. And to mirror what Nico said is that just do it. One of the things I really value about what both of you guys are doing is you're just doing it. You had this dream to bring attention to artistry.
Fucking do it.
And you just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is that's on your heart, the world needs more people taking action to do what they love and be passionate and excited about it. So do it and trust that the right people will find you, because they will.
Thank you so much for being here. And well, this is all.
See you next week.
See you next week. Woo! I'm going to have a coffee.
That's when you wish you drink tequila. Huh?
That's why we call it café artístico.
Thank you guys. That was so much fun.